Well, Jack Sinclair, a terrific story of perseverance, overlooked in the 2013 draft, spent 2014 playing with the Oakley Chargers, was overlooked in the national draft at the end of 14 and rookie listed by the Saints with the opening pick. Played roughly 80 of his soon-to-be 200 games under the tutelage of Alan Richardson, who's one of 5 men to coach St Kilda 100 or more times. And Alan, thanks for joining us. We'll start at the beginning, your first impressions of a young, skinny Jack Sinclair arriving at Moorabbin.
I'm not sure he was that skinny. He always had massive calves, the boy. He was a really good mover, but a bit of a story. He was really good mates with Jack Billings, went to school together. Their families were really close. And I can remember Tony Elshaw, who was the head recruiter at the time, coming in and saying that we reckon we found one. This kid's been overlooked. He got disappointed. He went and played a bit of cricket. He was a pretty handy cricketer, so he was he had almost had the choice, if you like, or at least had the opportunity to try out at a really high level. For whatever reason, I don't know the details. He chose footy again, and it was some of his games at Port Melbourne against bigger blokes that really impressed our guys, and one of those ones that we can't believe he's there at the pick. That's what he was when we got him in the rookie draft. So. Had a strong year in his first year. I can't remember exactly how many games, but it would have been close to 20. He really did come in and impress straight away. But terrific person. Quite a shy kid early, and I caught up with him again briefly, going past each other almost in Alice Springs only 2 weeks ago, and he's still a bit of an introvert. He's he just gets the job done and doesn't. There's not a lot of fanfare, but he's such an impressive person. Great family. I'm rapt for him that he's been able to do what he's done. But it's not a surprise. The other thing that I'd throw into that was it was pretty clear how ambitious he was. He was very disappointed to get overlooked. He thought he had what was required to have an AFL career, and disappointed he didn't get that opportunity early. But he was able to park that and get to work, and good on him. He's had an amazing career.
Was there the signs of him early thinking that he was going to show what we see these days? We see this running back and the reading of the play from the running out of defence, the ability to move into the centre line that he has over the last couple of seasons. Was that always there, and it was just something he was going to have to build on over the few years?
To be fair, we really earmarked him as a clever, creative forward with the potential to play on the wing. He ended up playing a fair bit of footy on the wing, sort of swapping with Jack Billings in many ways. So the group at the time, David Armitage was a big-bodied inside mid. Seb Ross was playing good footy. Steely hadn't quite joined the group yet. And so Jack Nunes was also playing on the wing. We had a few Jacks. I reckon we had 5 Jacks after Sinks joined us, and there was a few more to come after that. But so it was more forward, and it was a bit of wing. He had this incredible ability because he just never blasts the ball. He never wastes the ball. He'd almost rather get tackled than just quick kick it. He's just so creative by hand and foot. That was really evident early. I didn't quite see the halfback stuff, to be honest. Because I liked the way he was progressing as a forward. He was able to get shots on goal, and we had some challenges given where our list was at that stage in that position. So it really did help us. It was not until Rats joined the club in 2019, which was my last year, and Rats saw a bit in him to play him down back in a couple of games late. That's my memory. And then I reckon with 6 games to go when Rats took over, he predominantly played him there. And the rest is history. It doesn't surprise me that he's been able to go into the midfield. Now that I'm not coaching against Jack, but now that I'm in an opposition footy club that has to work against Jack, there's a lot of time. This is real credit to Jack. There's a handful of players at the Saints that have got this sort of talent that you have to curb, and he's one of them. And full credit to him.
So, Richo, obviously, as you said, you're at another club now, but in a lighthearted way, if he was on the open market, is he worth 4 first-round draft picks at the moment?
Well, it depends on your needs. Given that I'm on a podcast talking about Jack, I'm not going to say anything to the contrary, am I? But oh no, look, he's a really talented player. As I said, he doesn't waste the ball. You know, if you're not a good stoppage team or you don't win your fair share of stoppage, then your attack has to start from defence. And you know, with him and Malia and the way the Saints set up, I mean, they kicked 10 goals from the back against us, which really hurt us up in Alice Springs, and he was a massive part of that. I mean, we spent a fair bit of time trying to control Jack and control, Malia, etc. So he's a part of a really damaging group back there. As you pointed out, he can go into the midfield. I mean, given that I coached him as a forward and he did a pretty good job, I think he kicked up, once again, close to 20 goals in his first year. I wouldn't be surprised if he could do a bit of damage going forward as well. So he's incredibly versatile. What would he be worth? Plenty, I would say. He won't leave the Saints. I'm sure you're aware of his connection with his grandfather. So
Yep.
he's a Saints fan. I don't think he barracked for the Saints early. I think he might have. Don't know who he followed, but there was always a strong St Kilda connection there. I know his family were delighted that he found his way to Moorabbin.
Yeah, just before I get excommunicated, I just want to make it really clear. I'm not putting him up on the open market.
Yeah, no, I've just written some notes to make sure that the Saints look like they want to clear Jack Sinclair, so we'll be in the market.
So that time he did have down the forward line, he would have lined up alongside another guy that's made a bit of a news article tonight in the form of Nick Riewoldt. Inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight officially. It's been on the cards for a couple of years now. How was Nick to coach, and were they two that were sort of worked together well down there?
I obviously got Nick at the back end of his career. Still some really good footy. Played and won All Australian selection. It was a year that we actually pushed him up the ground a bit, and he played a bit on the wing. And that was as much. And this says a lot about where Rui was at. It was about what sort of legacy he could leave for others. We needed to get time into the front half for people like Spencer and obviously Paddy McCartan, etc. So we needed, that was going to be our future. So Rui went up in the midfield and won an All Australian. He was just amazing. I've never seen anyone that's got the package that I've been lucky enough to coach some good players. I've been at 8 footy clubs. His package of courage, his athletic profile, and just his footy now. So I think that was underestimated a bit with Rui because he was, and he had, I think you'd know more than me, but he had some periods in his career where he got the yips in front of goals and there was a lot of advice coming in. But his field kicking was just incredible. Yeah, when he got the footy, something certainly worked for us. But I just want to touch on the courage. There was, certainly his last couple of years, there was probably not a game where he didn't go out having a drain his knee, with significant amounts of fluid coming out, to just allow him to get up and play. It was just amazing, really. So, no, good on him. Well deserved, just a star of the competition. And now probably one of the stage people of our game, the way that he presents himself in the media. That doesn't surprise me. He's just such a pro and set a great example for a lot of the young players at the Saints.
Well, Richard, we appreciate you jumping on. As we said, over 100 games as coach. Some of our stars at the moment, namely Sinclair, Jack Steele, Rowan Marshall, even Tim Embry is at Collingwood. A lot of these guys played their first games for the club under your tutelage. And thanks for joining us. Obviously, you're in the cut and thrust of a season with the Ds at the moment. So good luck with that going forward. And thanks for jumping on.
Good on you guys. Great to have a chat.
Thanks, Richo.